Time for divine shot, KJ events. This real talk's the brand. You understand how we do, my man. I'm on that Friday night Knicks shit, dripping in Knicks shit. Up in the world most famous arena with the click. That's the conglomerate. The Knicks real talk is real prominent. I'm a bit like the Omicron variant, dominant. Paying homage to the cat in the chat. That's where it's at. Cause I'm hearing that. You don't care for how early we straight facts. We interact with the mob, the gods. Up in the pod, the squad, with the side. My entourage be on the job. My energy, feeling tripping in 10 books. As they cook my game plan, and my brand for loot and pursuit. Going hard like the New York City gritty committee. Cause that the Knicks ain't always pretty, but we all stay giddy. And we embrace the fan base, like the link, Anthony Mace. We trace the logo when there's airspace that appear like Squarespace. Staring down on the Chase Bridge, look at that Knicks City drip. There's any Dexys on the court, looking pretty legit. I think true to the orange and blue. I thought you knew for him a few bars to shine like stars divine on Mount Mars. Knicks real talk. Here we go, let's go.
Knicks real talk right here. I'm representing
Knicks real talk.
right here. Let's get it.
Here we go, let's go.
We here in the building.
Knicks real talk.
Let's get it.
Here we go, let's go.
Yeah, for real. Yes, sir.
Knicks real talk.
We here.
Here we go,
in the
let's go.
building. Knicks real talk. Let's get it. Let's get it. Yeah, for real. Yes, sir.
Let's get it. Yo, what's going on, everybody? Salute, salute, salute. What is good? Good to see y'all up in the building tonight. Knicks real talk. Who's next at the next in the seat, man? You know, we're gonna talk about the Scott Perry situation where he's about to lead the Knicks and go on to some other endeavors and all that good stuff. That's pretty much gonna be the main topic tonight. We talk about a couple other things, but first and foremost, salute to everybody out there. My partner in crime in the building. You know, we say true to the orange and blue. Shop Powers, what's popping?
Salute to you, Divine. Salute to the chat. Let's get it.
Yeah, man, on this quiet and all season, man. You know, we got a little news yesterday, man, that Scott Perry is not gonna re-sign with the Knicks. This would be his last endeavor with the Knicks, man. After the summer season, he probably wound up doing a draft for the Knicks, and that's basically probably what it is. But that's what it's all about tonight, man. Scott Perry, you know, our general manager, man. We came here in July 14, 2017. Did some good things for the Knicks. You know, and he helped us get us out of purgatory, man. He really changed the culture of this thing, man. And I'm a big Scott Perry guy. He really came in here to change the culture. But first and foremost, before I go any further, salute to the chat. That's where it's at. Once a Nick, always a Nick. Drip more. JJ, everybody, man. Salute to you guys, man. Can't never put you guys in the intro because y'all know what it is. But yeah, man. Peace of God, Unique Allah is in the building. What's good? Yeah, man. We'll get into that Unique in a few minutes. But just to, you know, to get back off of his record, Scott Perry came in here, like I said, 2017, man. After the Phil Jackson era, brought in Scott Mills. Scott Mills hired him as the general manager. Had a stint with the Sacramento Kings. He came from Sacramento. Obviously, he's the one that drafted De'Aaron Fox. So you know he got Oladipo, all he got. Now I'll get into that later. But for the Knicks, he did some good things. He had to come here and kind of clean up the mess that the Melo situation, Phil Jackson, and all that stuff. He came in here, him and Steve Mills did some things, shot powers. They trying to start gaining more draft picks, shredding long contracts, all that good stuff, man. Obviously, he sent Melo over there to Oklahoma City for Enes Kanter and Doug McDermott, and they picked that sent us Mitchell Robinson. So you know that was interesting to see as well. But I have no problem with what Scott Perry did here, man. He deliberately changed his culture around in a lot of ways. Some of it don't be shown out in the atmosphere, but the way they practice in New York now, man, being in the gym 2 days in a row, 2 days in one night. Sometime if your game ain't good, going in, keep practicing. He got a good mindset. And absolutely, every Monday I go on Twitter and look at his Monday motivation tweets. You know what I mean? I've been replying to his Monday motivation tweets for the last year because he got some really good insight about life in general. So Scott Perry did some good things, Shop Powell. And I was happy, but I hate to see him go, but I understand why he's going.
Yeah, you look at all the people that he brung in. It's been a couple of people. I'm just gonna name some random names since he's been here. But you got the Mitchell Robinsons, you got the Julius Randle, you got RJ Barrett, IQ, Quickly, Grimes, Sims. You know, those are some of the names that have come through the door since Scott Perry has been here. And I mean, and you know, big, and these are if I'm not mistaken, everyone I mentioned, well, Julius Randle was a trade, but I'm pretty sure Perry had a little bit of wazoo with trying to get Julius Randle in here. So he's been here and he's been doing some great stuff from him for us. You know what I mean? I believe he helped navigate a little bit how a new GM coming into the league as being his first time being a GM. Leon Rose kind of led him in the right direction. You know, I mean, I'm pretty sure Leon Rose knew kind of what the workings was, but to have Perry there to help kind of guide him a little bit, you know, was big. He's been here for 6 years, you know what I mean, and he's done some things for us to get back our picks. You know, he's one of those big name guys that's been in there, and if he's looking for another job, I'm pretty sure he's gonna find it if he goes out there looking right away. I'm not. I see that can happen real quick. As soon as he put his resume out there, whoever he's shooting his team to, I'm pretty sure he could get picked up by them. Very knowledgeable guy. Very coordinated with the NBA players and stuff like that. You know, so he knows a couple of people, and you know, that's what he has done for us since he's been here. But who was it? Tag? I just forgot. Let me look. Once a Nick, always a Nick. I think it was that said this. Julius Randle and RJ Barrett trade bait now that Perry is gone? That will be talked about.
Yeah, real talk. That go to the chat right there. Yeah, you know what, man, for me, he did some good things for the Knicks, man. Like I said, man. See, and one thing people gotta remember, just because you're the general manager, don't mean all your decisions get approved. You know what I mean? Like he can make a decision, don't mean that like if say if somebody got traded to the Knicks, that don't mean he was the one that had the final decision. Leon Rose is the president of basketball operations. Then it went to him. Then it went to Wesley and Zion and them guys. But I think the Knicks respected him, just like you said. When he came in as the general manager and Leon Rose first got here, the president of basketball operations, he didn't really know about nothing too much about the atmosphere in the Knicks from a management perspective. And that's why I think they kept him on to help tutelage what Leon Rose was going to do. You know what I mean? Like, okay, Leon Rose needs somebody who know the draft, who know how to make deals with other people out there for as, you know, from a manager perspective, how you manage everything. And I think, you know, they relied on him heavily. And I think that's why he was well respected in that realm, because they relied on him. Like I said, they signed Julius Randle. They didn't trade for. They signed him to a 3-year deal in the first year, 3 years, $60 million coming because of a free agent, actually, or something of that nature. So, and then, you know, he did the RJ thing. He did the Barrett thing. He did the Grimes thing. He had some hit and misses. He had more hits than misses. You know what I mean? And he did some things, even though when he drafted Oladipo and them back in the day, he had some good stuff, man. And so I salute him for that, man. And so it's guys out there that we whether they hire from inside or outside. I think Garrison Rojas might be that first guy due to the fact he was a president of basketball operations. He was one of the chief negotiator in the Donovan Mitchell deal. You know what I mean? So for them to put that pressure on him, and remember he was out there when Jimmy Butler came to Minnesota. He was out there with Tibbs then. So I just think that circle, and I think that's why they hired him, because it's basketball mind. You don't hire nobody just to be hiring them. You hire them because they got a good basketball mind. And I think this guy Rojas got a good chance to become the GM. Maybe that's why they hired him last year, Shot Parker. They seen this coming. You know what I mean? They seen this day right here when Scott Perry no longer will be a general manager, because Scott Perry probably want to go out there and be a president of basketball operations. You know, want to go out there and get put his own name and stamp on the top of an organization, because there's a lot of them out there the way these people firing everybody. So I do think that you know, he has some hit and misses. You know, and for sure you like the RJ Barrett thing, you like the Mitchell Robinson thing, you love the Quentin Grimes and them guys, Jericho Sims and all them guys. You know, he did some undrafted things that paid dividends and some didn't. You know what I mean? And I think Kevin Knox was the one of the biggest brothers. But like I was, you know, what JJ was interested in me, I'm not sure that but that totally on him. I think a lot of stuff that went on in Scott Perry era also had a lot to do with Steve Mills. You know what I mean, Shot Powers? Because Steve Mills was the president of basketball operations. So no matter what my man wanted to do, Steve Mills had the final say, him and James Dolan. And so I think, you know, even with some of the good stuff he did, it might not have been all him doing. It was part of the equation. But I think overall, I'm happy with Scott Perry. He came around here. I remember one time when he first got here, and the Knicks was playing the Sacramento Kings one night on national TV at 10 o'clock game, and they asked him what was he gonna do. He said, "We want to get more athletic. We want to get more younger. We want to grow this thing for men. And they had cap space at the time, and he stayed true to the game. He literally said, "Listen, we're gonna go hire these young guys. We're gonna start getting a little bit more. We're gonna build a culture like we built a Yankee farm club or something. You know what I mean? Bringing these people up from within." So he did do the things that he said he was gonna do, and I'm happy with him, man. I wish him nothing but the best. Scott Perry was a godsend to the Knicks, man, because you think about it, after the Phil Jackson era, even Steve Mills, it wasn't guaranteed. So I think he did a good job overall, and I just hope nothing for the best for him, man. Because like I said, I think he's a good GM, especially being a GM in New York under all that was going on around him at the time. To come in here and help clean up the franchise, and I think it wasn't for me, but one for Scott Perry's basketball mindset, shot powers. I don't think the Knicks would be in the situation they are now because he had a basketball culture within him. You know what I mean? I think that was important to me, so I was happy about him. But he did change this thing a little bit for sure.
Yeah, he's done what he's done. What whatever word was said about him or how much power that he had in the office, he must have had some. He stayed here for 6 years. Mm-hmm. I mean, so he had some say so in who we got and who we didn't. His thoughts was put amongst the front office on the do's and the don'ts and the yeses and the nos, I believe. Mm-hmm. I mean, I don't know. I'm just throwing out the rumor. I'm just gonna throw it out there. You know what I mean? And I'm gonna be a rumor theorist tonight. And maybe they needed to they didn't want to maybe they go by vote. You know what I mean? Maybe it's 4 guys there that have the position to make a vote. And they put different names on the table. Let's go get Quickly. The ayes say 4-1. Let's go get Grimes. The ayes say 3-1. Now that he's gone, maybe not saying that I'm making a scenario, but now that he's gone, maybe now the voting could change a little bit, because now, like, we all sit here and we talk about it. We know that if there's a major, a minimal, not a minimal, but a average to an upper middle level trade this year, it's going to have to be amongst RJ or Randall. And who knows? Maybe with him gone, now they can make the decision a little easier to maybe let go of one of these guys. I'm just throwing it out there.
That makes sense, because he was a part of that situation. He helped bring Randall here. He
did. That I remember.
Yeah. He brought him here. So I absolutely can understand. I think the end all be all is that it's time for him to go to greener pastures. He done did a job for the Knicks. His contract is up. Remember, they extended him 1 year when Rose got here. I mean, when Leon Rose got here, they wanted him to stay on, like he said, for a year. Then they gave him another deal after that to now. And now I think that I'm almost on you. I'm with you in this sense here. But this is what I hope don't happen. I hope they don't forget what Scott Perry did from a culture perspective. Now they're gonna go big game hunting, so they might not need him to be that draft guru guy or be that guy who who works in the draft a lot and trade for play. Because remember, he wanted DeRozan here 2 years ago. Can you imagine we had DeRozan like this year, whatever? So but somebody else said no. So and it's understandable, because like everything is delegated. You know what I mean? From the head down, from Dolan down to Roll, down to him, down to Warp, and I think even what Wesley probably like, you know what, we need to really get. And Unique, I'm with you on that, man. I'm really big on the Allen Houston. Allen Houston paid his dues. I like cats who pay dues. Allen Houston paid his dues. I'd love to see him be the general manager of the Knicks one day. It might not be in this, I don't know, but he's one guy, like you said, Unique. I'm with you on that 100%, my brother, my true and living physical brother, my actual brother. I'm with you, dude, on that one. He earned his draft. I would like to see him up in there as well, but I got a feeling it might lean towards Rojas.
That's what I'm thinking too.
He got a track record. He know how to work in that position. He's been there. Like he literally been the president of basketball operations for the Minnesota Timberwolves. So and that's why they brought him here because Tom Thibodeau, like I said earlier, was over there. Jimmy Butler, Cat, you know what I mean? Like all this. So he got Cat. He was part of that thing with Cat and them. So Knicks keep everything in a really tight network, and that's what I love about Scott Perry because he had connections. Scott Perry can go to Detroit. He can go to Oklahoma City. He pretty much can get a deal done with anybody because he had them type of connections in the NBA since he into 1990 something. He's been, like I say, he was in Sacramento. He was in he got Oladipo down there.
Mm-hmm.
Then he got De'Aaron Fox out there in the draft out in Sacramento. He was in the Detroit organization with Joe Dumars. So this cat been around. His expertise, his basketball knowledge made the Knicks to me since 2018. Why they are where they are right now. If it wasn't from that dude, real talk, because he brought in a culture. He brought in a culture to the Knicks. Remember, the Knicks was just all over the place. You know what I mean? He came in here with my man. He said, "Nah, we're gonna." A matter of fact, I'm gonna tell you how much the Knicks respected him. They fired Steve Mills before they fired him. They didn't fire him. They fired Steve Mills and kept him because they know his mindset was basketball. The other shit was just let's sign this guy, let's sign this guy, let's sign this guy. Not worry about the implications going forward. Just sign anybody. And I think he came here and stabilized that joint. I think my man did a good job in that from the Brad point with Phil Jackson. He pretty much picked up where Phil Jackson left off at, said, we're not trading no draft picks. We're not trading no first rounders. We're not doing that. And look to this day, right now, the Knicks got 11 first-round draft picks over the next 7 years because he said, I'm not trading these dudes. And I think that could be the difference to me, Shop Powell, because he probably wanted to keep this thing stable. And then now that we done got to the second round, worldwide, them kept a lie. Nah, we might need to go get this dude now. You know what I mean? I think that's the difference to me. He was a culture builder. Now they done reached that when the culture's established, they got a blueprint. Let's put it like this here. The Knicks got a blueprint now. So even if he's gone, they can learn from what he did there. And I think that's why it should be important for that day. They salute my man Ron. Ron, what's popping, my man? Y'all know what it is. The NBA report, know the ledge, everything. Y'all know how they get down. Salute my man John. Salute to you too as well, my man. I ain't seen you in a minute, but salute to Ron and John, man. Y'all know how the brothers get down there. But yeah, I'm happy with him. I have no problem. You want to ask me a grade for Scott Perry? I'll give him a B. I'll give him a B because everything is not always in his control. You know what I mean? He got people that's higher than him. But I give him a B, man. I'm happy where the Knicks is at right now. I think he had a lot to do with that, for sure.
Facts, Divine. I concur, man. I'm right there with you about a B. If he wasn't meant to be here, he wouldn't have been here after those last two. He'd been here 6 years. So he finished out his contract and got extended. And he didn't get fired. It's just the end of his contract. You know what I mean? That if I'm not mistaken, I know he didn't get fired. So and I think this is the end of his contract. And instead of like what they're gonna probably do with D Rose this year, thank you for your service. And I mean, you've done some great things for us and stuff like that. We're gonna think about going towards another direction. So, but we want to offer, just in case you go somewhere else. Don't remember, you got Nick. You once a Nick, always a Nick. You know what I mean? We'll call on you if you go somewhere and we need somebody from your team or something like that. You know what I mean? So I think he has done what he needed to do to get the Knicks to where they are now. He's in that front office, and whatever little bit of, if he had a little bit of say so in there or bigger say so than some of the other guys. He has been here 6 years, so he had, even with a little bit of stuff, if he only had a little bit, he is a New York Knick and had something to do with how this team is moved forward.
Yeah, real talk. And like we were speaking about a few minutes ago, for me, if you look at who's in the Knicks front office right now, obviously you got decisions that any way you can go there. Let me see if I can make it bigger for you guys. Obviously, we know the executive chairman and NBA governor, James Dolan, president of basketball operations, we know is Leon Rose. General manager was Scott Perry. Then president and chief operations officer was Dave Hopkins. I think he's more really like in the lawyer side of things. I might get me wrong. I think he's more on that side of situation.
Yeah, you don't hear much about his name.
He's really one of them negotiators in the front office that you don't hear about in the basketball realm. He does MSG Sports. He's part of MSG. He's not really necessarily the Knicks. You know what I mean? But then after that, you got William Wesley, executive vice president, senior basketball advisor. See, I think William Wesley is pretty much here to me. I think James Dolan, Leon Rose. Then I think William Wesley moves up to here. I think that's how much power he has in this, I would say. Obviously, the other people, and then if you move over to the operational side of things, that's the management side of things y'all look at now. Leon Rose, James Dolan, Scott Perry, with managers. These guys are basketball operations. That's when you get into Allen Houston, Walt Perrin, Zion Galen, Brock Aller, the capologist cat, which is really good with the numbers. So these people are just more about the operation, but them cats really had the ones up top, like James Dolan, Perry, Leon Rose, World Wide West. They the decision makers. They make the other cats are more strategic in what they do. So I think if you ask me, Garrison Rojas was in there somewhere. I don't know how I left his name out. I'm sorry. Let me make sure that I didn't leave him out. But he's one of them cats that should be up in the top echelon.
Well, didn't Rojas just came for being an advisor or something like that? He might not even be on. What didn't he just come in as an advisor? Did maybe this season or something like that?
That's correct. You're absolutely right. That's why he probably not up here.
Yeah, that's probably why he's not up there. I think he came in as an advisor. I don't even think he has a quote unquote title. If I'm not mistaken, I think he came in as an advisor this season, not so much as having that associate, assistant, vice president, and I don't think he has that title. I think he came in as a advisor, quote unquote, some type of senior, whatever. I don't know.
Yeah. So what you got there for you, Shop Power? Do you think we're gonna go higher with it? Let me tell everybody right now who I back to Shop Power. Do not even think about Bob Myers.
Yeah, come on, man.
Don't even think about Bob Myers. Don't even get your penny. Don't get your hopes up high, whatever. That ain't happening. He ain't happening, Shop Power. So they need to make sure they don't even trip off that. He's not coming here, man. Not to be second fiddle to no one. You know what I mean? After all he accomplished in his
he ain't doing that. Mm-hmm. I think the major move is probably something that we already have in house. The Rojas thing. I think he steps in and maybe since he has been already a general manager, right? He's been a general manager before. I'm not 100% sure.
He was the president of basketball operations, like same position Leon Rose got, but he was with the Timberwolves.
Yeah, so I think he can probably be that. He can probably fill into that that Perry spot. I think his name. I don't think they put nobody else in. I think he came into this year to get groomed into what the New York Knicks want to do, how they want to do, have a little bit of say-so on and some of the deals that was made already. But I think they just slot him in. I think he came in, was it the beginning of this year? I remember it was something they talked about him. Yeah, right. Yeah, it was this year. And he came in and they talked about him a little bit. I was like, oh, but that was like water under the bridge. It came in your ear. You thought about it. It was like, oh, okay. Who is he? And then you look into who he was and all that stuff. But he's just not assistant, advocate for. Yeah. So who was he? But now that we know, I believe that it is Rojas is going to take that position. And whatever money he was getting, he'd probably get a little bump in paycheck, and he'll be the one that fills in for Perry.
Yeah, real talk. Salute to the chat, everybody. What's popping?
Thank you.
Good coach in the building. Coach AR 617. Coach, what's popping? Glad to see you up here, man. Appreciate you coming in, fam. Real talk. You know what? Like I said, he was in negotiations in the Donovan Mitchell deal. That's how, like Knicks fan 100, like Ron said, a consultant. But he literally played a role in the Donovan Mitchell deal. You know what I mean? He was pretty much, from what I hear out there in the atmosphere, whereas he was one of the chief negotiators. He done some good things in Minnesota. He brought some good talent in there. What's his name? D'Angelo Russell. He brought him into Minnesota. Obviously with Cat and all. I'm not sure what he did when Cat and Levine and them did, but I know he definitely he had something to do with D'Angelo Russell going here. So he had the experience. I guess what I'm trying to say, and I don't have a problem with him being there. I would love to see Allen Houston finally get a crack at this thing, man. He done paid some major dues in New York, man. Allen Houston, if not now, sooner or later. You never know, but I'm comfortable with whatever they do, man. I just want to hope I hope losing Scott Perry don't change the culture of the Knicks. From that perspective, everything else, I'm good. Hey, Nick 100, I'm about with you on this, man. I say that for a reason. Knicks are nice. I meant to say Knicks are nice. I'm with you on that because of the connections. You understand what I'm saying? The connection. These people got connection. They get you stuck like glue. No cats been around. Like I said, Tibbs, Rojas, all these guys. They played. They got all that. So I wouldn't doubt it. I don't see it not happening. You know what I mean? I'm saying I could see it happening. If they do it, I would do it because they know what it is. They know the culture. So it's fine with me. I'm good. I believe in these guys, man. They showed improvement 3 years. Leon Rose and Scott Perry and them guys showed me something in 3 years. 2 playoff appearances in 3 years. Come on. You got so I'm comfortable with what they're doing. I'm just hoping that they don't, without Scott Perry's basketball mind, and they lose sight of that. I mean, this cat it came around here, like I said, Shot Powell pretty much turned this thing around. So I helped turn this organization around when he came here with Steve Mills. And like I said, you seen who left first. It wasn't him, it was Steve Mills. And he got extended. So that means James Dolan respect his knowledge. You know what I mean? And he drafted pretty well for the Knicks. So let's hope that they don't lose that side of it. But they got a lot of good infrastructure there now with my man, the scouting department. They good there with Work Pearl and all these guys. They good. The Knicks finally got a true business-minded, professional front office.
No question.
Yep, no question.
No question, man. But from years before, when we used to have these guys that used to get Bayani in here and trade like 17 picks out and stuff like that. Yeah, we have come a long way from what front office we had not too long ago, just with Pat Riley, what's the guy from the coaching from the Bulls?
Jackson.
Yeah, Phil Jackson. Just from Phil Jackson. Getting all of these crazy guys when he was in the office and stuff like that, ready to trade off. Phil wasn't that bad about giving up players, but he's seen players different. He's seen players that was from overseas that no one really looked at. That looked like they could be something in the NBA. You know what I mean? And we've come a long way, man. We have made some strong trades. We have made some strong trades. We have made some great pickups in the drafts these last couple of years. The way they wheeled and deal getting these picks, 20s, 24th pick, 25th pick, 30. Mitch was like 30 something, 54th pick. They have went into trades and picked some players that we have here right now. That's contributing to the culture. And this front office, I haven't seen a front office this ready. The only thing that me and I believe a lot of the Knicks fans are waiting for is for Leon to make that big drop, that big move, that big superstar player to come here and really try to take us over the top. But with what we have right now, we have a good nucleus. And we have some tradable contracts. We have some great young guys that are growing up into the system and stuff like that. And we may not need right now a quote unquote max superstar right now. We may be good with someone that's that fits better than the cost and more cost effective than someone like Jaylen Brown right now. Me personally, first of all, I don't think he's going to come here. I think he's got other avenues where he's going to go. If he leaves Boston, they're going to have some, they're looking at $500 million over there between two guys. So they're going to probably look to move him. But whatever, right now we need a tweak, someone to fit into the system, not so much to be a super max type of player and really can't take us over the hiatus, take us over the top.
Yeah, salute to the chat, man. Y'all got to go in there. Let me answer a couple questions in the chat right quick, and I'll get you back. The answer, Knicks 100 had a chat for me. His was interesting. His was the first one I think about. Let me get to it. He asked me, Cat or Porzingis. I'm just gonna put out there Porzingis because of the contract, and that's all I'm gonna say. Porzingis because of the contract was one, and then I think my physical said he passed on Donovan. I don't know, Unique. I don't know if it's so much he passed on Donovan. I think Danny Ainge wasn't even going to send him here no way.
Yeah, I don't think so either. Just because we wanted him.
Yeah, I think they was like, nah, you're not going to fleece us 7 first-round draft picks and giving up RJ, this guy, that guy, and we still knocked that boy out in the first round. So, and I should tell everybody, he is good talent, Donovan Mitchell, but Donovan Mitchell haven't got that far yet. He there, but he not had some good teams in Utah. He haven't crossed that pendulum yet. So, but I do think I would take Porzingis in a heartbeat due to the fact the contract, number one, and you can negotiate it better. Because my man, I love Cat, but damn, Cat contract is ridiculous.
Yeah, Supermax contract. That's what I'm talking about.
Yeah, and and Porzingis, he had a good year, 65 games, like we always talk about. And he had a good game, good season last year. 23 from the points from the game, shot over close to 50% from the field. Then there 39, something like that, 38 from downtown, 87% from the chatty stripe. He just had all around had a good year last year, man. And like I said, you might have to do some sign and trade stuff, whatever. But I definitely would take Porzingis back here, man. No question about it, because he got an easier contract to deal with, and it'll keep us with flexibility to move forward. And that's the main reason. But I mean, and there ain't no shade at Cat, ladies and gentlemen. Because let me tell you something. I know everybody called Cat soft and all that. Cat, one of the top 5 centers in the game. His numbers don't lie. The Cat is the best shooting big man by far in the NBA. He getting you 11 rebounds, almost 4 or 5 assists, because he does pass the rock a lot. He can stretch the floor like Porzingis if you still got Mitchell Robinson there. I wouldn't have a problem with a Cat and Mitchell Robinson front line, because Mitchell Robinson, much as he go down, 59 games last year. So I don't have a problem with Cat as long as it don't damage the infrastructure, because the CBA will go up eventually. But man, let me tell you something now. Y'all can't be mad at it. I know people call us soft now. His numbers don't lie. That Cat could play some basketball, man. I just think that sometimes you're not in the right situation. Can you imagine Cat was in a situation where the management was better? Think about the Minnesota Timberwolves management since Tom Thibodeau left. When Tom Thibodeau left, they went seller. That owner Taylor, he just a pain in it. You know what? When Tom Thibodeau and them cats left, that place went south. I mean, it literally they finally got to the playoffs a couple of years ago when Ant-Man. So what I'm saying is Cat numbers is legit. Cat is an all-star. He's a 3 or 4 time all-star. He makes the Knicks a better team. Whether we like him or not, I think Cat is that good. I'm just concerned about that $62 million at the end player option. I don't know where the Knicks would be when that time get here, but I definitely don't have a problem with Cat. I mean, if he can stay here, listen. I think Cat, Randall, RJ, Grimes, and Brunson get you to the NBA Finals, no question. Cat, Randall, RJ Barrett, Grimes, and Brunson. If you just kept that together, that's a dangerous team. He came up a long way. He had to grow up just like every other NBA guy, man. He got to grow up, and when you come to the league, you're young. You don't really know the ropes yet. You boy amongst men. I guess he had to go through his little maturation and growing and becoming from a teenager and a young man to become a man. Because a lot of these cats come in league shot powers, they still kids. Like when Captain came in their rookie year, they was kids. You know what I mean? Going against 30-year-old, 27-year-old, so he had to grow. And I think he got to a point now. I put it like this here. If Cat wasn't that dude, they wouldn't have gave him $200 million. Let me put it I'm going to cut it right there. If Cat wasn't that good, they would not give that man $200 million. He can play some basketball. He can. But, between him and Porzingis, the contract shop, Howard, I would do the contract situation. It's because of the contract for me. I think we get more out of Porzingis, lesser contract than Cat's. But I do think with the connections in this thing right here with the Knicks, you better watch out. You might see Cat in New York, shop, Howard. It wouldn't put it past me.
To see Cat here, that means they will have to do some real deal willing and dealing, because if they're planning on getting Cat and putting him at the center and keeping Randall and RJ, then they are going to be giving up a whole lot of somethings. You know what I mean? Because then they will have to make up the money. So you're looking at Evan Fournier. You're possibly looking at Obi Toppin. You're possibly looking at let me see, that's 18. Obi Toppin is like almost 10, so that's 28. That's a lot of money to make up. Maybe IQ, that's like $5 million, so that's 32 33. You know, they would have to give up, you know, some major that just those three players. If they were planning, oh, Mitchell Robinson, but then you're not moving Mitchell Robinson to Milwaukee. I mean, you're not moving to Minnesota because they already got the French dude over there. You know what I mean? Yeah, not Giannis, the French dude, the French center. Gobert. So they're not moving Mitch, even though we could probably use that $15 million, but they're not moving Mitch. So I don't think that would be in the trade thing, you know. So, I mean, the easier way to get Cat is to put him at the 4, maybe. Moving Randall, that's 28, 27. What are you getting this year? 27, 28, 27, something like that this year. And then you look at IQ, which will be $5 million. So that's 28, and 5 is 33. And maybe they throw in maybe a deuce or something to fill it up, getting close to 36, because that's what he's projected to be paid next year. So they would have to get 36, and they would probably have to give up maybe a couple of firsts too, to make that deal happen. So would they do it? I don't know. I think the easier trade, and this is one thing that I've seen on Twitter. I'm not opposed to this trade. I wanted to say this now. I'm not opposed to it, but I don't know if they would do it. But Knicks fans, Divine, would you think about getting KP and Kuzma and moving out RJ Barrett and Randall?
No.
No? Okay.
No. You made it that team. Now, don't tell you why, because you taking the risk on Porzingis' health, number one.
Facts.
Now, and Kuzma and KP ain't better than Randall. Because they limited. I'm not so much Randall. KP a good shooter outside. His impact in the interior is suspect a little bit. Like he don't.
Yeah, not as strong as Randall that drives and all that stuff. I hear you.
Listen, I think people can't. I think the league cannot sneeze on Julius Randle numbers. It ain't too many passes. I mean, listen, Randall is a all-star, all-NBA team. Listen, I know the Knicks fans, we hate Randall because of the shit he do. He is an all-NBA player out of 400 some players in the league. Randall is amongst the 15 best. He's an all-NBA player. So, you know, that's why I don't think, if anything, they would not trade Randall to bring in Cat. You made yourself worse to me. Not worse, but you didn't do nothing to benefit the team, because Randall numbers is all NBA. You might trade RJ before you trade Randall. The Knicks will not trade Randall for Cat. They want Cat to play with Randall. They might move RJ and Mitch. I'll send you RJ and Mitch or whatever, something like that, for Cat and picks. Because I think they know where Randall Brunson and Cat would be crazy. Because the numbers them Cat. See, I love RJ, but RJ is inconsistent. He got a 12-point-something PER. And I love RJ. If RJ don't get consistent, they're going to ship him. Because you know why? They need players. They in a win now mode. RJ got a big contract. RJ got $107 million. How many of us was going crazy on RJ all year long? I'm not getting on RJ. I'm trying to let you know what everybody else was seeing. We was getting on RJ all year long because he was blah, 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 until he got to the playoffs. He stepped his game up. But you're not going to have that problem with a Cat. Cat going to bring it to you all day long. He averaged 20-something a game. RJ do too, but look at what he leaves on the table. If he go 0 for 5 from downtown, Cat is the best shooting big man. He shot down to 40% from downtown this year. 40. So his numbers is way better than RJ. Because RJ's inconsistency, because he's young. I get it. He's not a shooter. He never came into the league as a shooter. So I think the Knicks shot power, me personally, I think they would say, listen, I want Cat with Randall. I think that's them two Kentucky boys. They know how to get down. They both all-stars. Cat is an all-star. Randall is an all-star. RJ Barrett is not an all-star. Jalen Brunson, in reality, is an all-star. So you got 3 all-stars with Cat, Randall, and Brunson. They all all-stars, all-star caliber players. I think the Knicks would do that first, to me, then keep RJ. I'm gonna be honest with you. If this front office, you will see what Scott Perry is made of as RJ Barrett get traded. They brought in Cat. I don't want them to revert back to the old regime. Just we go get guys just to get them. that's what I'm hoping that the coach of Scott Perry put there keep that in place, because I got a feeling the Knicks is going to get somebody. And a matter of fact, according to and I just read this, it might not be true. This is Jonathan. Let me get this right. From Hoops.com. Let me put up there. This is his thought on what they were talking about out there as far as the RJ Barrett situation. There was like, will RJ Barrett will be a piece in a major Knick deal, and that's from a man from Debbie's at Denviddy. I'm gonna get his name right. Sorry, ladies and gentlemen, but y'all read that. You speak for yourself. Sean Denviddy, Heavy.com. Speaking with Sean Denby, a general manager from the NBA Eastern Conference, seemed to believe it might be that RJ Barrett will be included in any marquee trade, particularly in that the all season. Barrett is coming off a underwhelming season, linking a 4-year, $120 million deal extension that served as a de facto consolation prize when the Knicks were unable to land Donovan Mitchell. RJ Barrett was going in that trade. So that's what I'm saying. I think RJ Barrett, because he would be that one. I think you can't send out RJ Barrett and don't bring in a player better than him. That's why I think he might be that one. Then he said he will be a piece if they make a major deal, whatever. They're not going to just trade RJ as the main component of a trade, but if they want to get a Damian Lillard, a Cat Karl-Anthony Towns, the OG Anunoby, or Pascal Siakam, it's probably meaning he's included, because they are not giving up Julius Randle with them numbers. So that's why I think we gotta be kind of like if you had to ask the fan base, who would you trade, Julius Randle or RJ Barrett in the big deal? You would have to ask the guys in out here in the chat and in the fan base, who would they do it? Would you do Randle and RJ, and why you would do it? For me, Randle is better than RJ. It's just straight up. There ain't no way you could put it, no way you could twist it. Not saying RJ won't get to Randle's level. He's young, 22. Randle's 28. So that don't mean that RJ Barrett can't become better than Randle. I don't know. But as of right now, Shot Powers, I truly believe if they would send Randle, I think the New York Knicks and them cats are listen, Randle is a part of this thing. We need his talent to help us get us over the hump. And it is interesting, man. So it's gonna be interesting what they do. That's why they got a big all season. And without Scott Perry here, it's gonna be interesting how they make these decisions. That's what I'm coming down to.
Yeah, I mean, we all know, we all talk about it. Our two biggest players, I mean, there's three guys that we got on this team. We said it this year, are the big three. We know that Brunson is not in any deal no matter what happens. Brunson is going to be the foundation until his contract is over, more than likely, and probably he will be our first person that gets a super max contract if he stays healthy and he continues the upward motion that he's going with. I want to salute to one of my guys from around my way and said, yo, I don't want to blow you up, Terrence Mosley, you know what I mean, aka and man, and yeah, you know what I mean, salute to you. Yeah, I mean, we also both know that if there's a trade to be made this year, it's either going to be RJ or Randle. You know what I mean? And you have to really take into consideration who you're going to trade for. Now, what I always said about these two guys, they are similar in styles. You know what I mean? When they're hot from the 3-point line, they're hot. When they're hot from the mid-range shot, they're hot. They drive the ball aggressively to the hole, and they both get to the line a lot. So they have similar styles of game. One is 22 going on 23, and one is 28 going on 29. You know what I mean? So that's the big thing about where we have to, which way we're gonna go with how we're gonna move forward. And it's one of those, if there's a trade this year, you know what I mean? And it's very, you know what I mean, I'm just waiting for that YouTube channel come on with SNY and see Bagley out there say, well, this year the Knicks look like they're going to make a moderate, stay moderate and not make too many major moves this year. I'm just waiting to hear that. You know what I mean? I guess sooner down the line, once we get past the trade deadlines and free agency start coming up, maybe we might start hearing more of even Bagley. But if we don't, and we make a trade, I believe it has to be between either RJ Barrett or Julius Randle. You know what I mean? They're going to be pieces to what we move. And the other two pieces that go with either one of those guys, RJ and RJ and Randall, is going to be one of Obi Toppin and Emmanuel Quickly. You know what I mean? So if there's a trade, it'll be, Julius Randle and IQ, or RJ Barrett and Obi Toppin, or yeah, something like that. Obi, or maybe you might even see Obi. Obi might lead. There's a couple of ways that they can finesse the way they want to do around here because of what they didn't have this year in the playoffs. You know what I mean? They need shooting. They need to put some people on the bench that can, that can consistently hit the shot and stuff like that. And me personally, I like the way what Randall has done. He is undisputedly an all NBA all-star. He is our all-star. I've been saying that for years to come. But if we were to move on from Randall, I think depending on who we get, if it's a KP, if it's a Grant, if it's a Kuzma, if it's a Achimoro from the Lakers, whoever that person is going to be playing that 5 position, I think Quentin Grimes and RJ is going to step up big time this year. You know what I mean? Those are the two guys that I'm trying to bank on. That's why I don't want to make a super duper move, because these guys have shown that they can come in and they, if they get sick. I think with Randall gone, Grimes gets more shots, and that's all that we all talking about. And I think that opens up the floor. Now it's only 2 people that are ISO basketball players. We got RJ and we got Jalen Brunson.
Yeah, I'm gonna tell you, for me, this is something I wouldn't, if Jalen Brunson wouldn't have came here, then I could see trading Randall. I really can. If Jalen Brunson didn't come here. But Jalen Brunson, then it made RJ Barrett expendable. You understand what I'm saying? It was Randall and RJ. That was our 2 dogs. You know what I mean? But when you brought Jalen Brunson in here, Jalen Brunson and Randall was your 2 dogs now. They all players, you know what I mean? So that's why it might make my man expendable. Not because he's talented, not because he can't play. I'm an RJ dude. I done did mad RJ different level videos for the year, high school, all the way up. I'm an RJ guy. But I do believe, not my thinking, I'm kind of putting this in the mind of the Knicks. This is not what I believe it happened. So when I say this stuff, I'm just talking about what I think the Knicks are thinking. They went to the East. They almost went to the Eastern Conference Finals. And RJ had a lot to do with that, in that series. But they might feel like, you know what? What about the cat out there who could shoot better than RJ and give you RJ numbers? But he got more season, or whatever. I don't know. I think that they did Knicks right now. Added Jalen Brunson, they would trade RJ before Jalen. They would trade him before Randall. Now, if Jalen Brunson didn't come here, then we could run Randall. I don't know if y'all wanted to, but I don't think that's the case. I think the Knicks going to build around Julius Randle and Jalen Brunson. They're going to find another cat to go with them too. Now you got your Jason Tatum and your Brown, or you got your LeBron and AD, or you got go on Giannis and Chris Middleton or whoever. I'm just saying, I'm not. So the Knicks might trying to find that dude that could be with Brunson that give you that combo. Like Jalen Brunson, this cat could be our 2 GOATs on this team, our 2 major players, and Randall still play third fiddle. Not, so they might go out there and get a cat better than Randall and keep Randall. Now that take the pressure off of Randall, because now you got Jalen Brunson in the number 2, and you got Randall at the 3, at the number 3, but he's still all NBA, and that's why I think it'll be interesting what goes on. And this Scott Perry move to me is going to be the reason why I look at a lot of this stuff, man. And anything can happen. You got Joel Embiid name out there. You got Zach LaVine name out there. I guarantee that none of them cats get moved for Randall. I'm willing to bet anything on that. They're not moving Randall unless it's Giannis or somebody like LeBron. Them, you ain't got no choice. But they're not moving Randall for any of these other players, because Randall all NBA. A lot of them players they moving 80 all NBA. That means a lot to these people, man. And like I said, Randall been here for 4 years. I mean, more than that. But in the last, he been to the playoffs twice. Before Randall come here, we wasn't in the playoffs. Him and RJ got us to the playoffs of 2020-21. Before Randall came to New York, New York was in purgatory. Randall came to New York, was willing to come here, wanted to be, and he lived up to it. The cat put up 2 seasons, 24 something, 2 All-Star appearances, two playoff appearances. I meant to say 2 playoff All-Star, 2 All NBA team. And if Randall wasn't here, Knicks would have been nothing because there wasn't nobody else putting up them numbers. So that's why I think the Knicks were paying Randall his respect because he did come here when a lot of other guys didn't want to come.
Right.
He want to come, and he came here. He showed and proved. Regardless of what you may think about Randall, Randall showed and proved. He put up numbers. I mean, you know what I mean? So, and they got to the playoffs with him and Tom Thibodeau a couple of times, and RJ did too. So I just think that knowing the Knicks, let's say they find a more efficient player for the money they're giving RJ, a more efficient player, Shop Howard. Not that he's more efficient. They might be banking on that. You know what I mean? RJ, what I'm telling y'all right now, he got to get off the inefficiency. That's what's going to hold him back is being inefficient. He can get 20 points, but damn, how many shots he got to take to get it? And you know how many games we lost because of RJ might have went 0 for 5 or Randall went 0 for 5 or Brunson didn't have it that night. And sometimes it happens, man. I think RJ should go be the face of a young team.
That's true a lot, Wise.
Yeah. Go be the face of a young team. And almost be. Cause I think RJ wanted to be that guy in New York, but I think with Randall here and then they got him Brunson, you know, he could shine the way he wanted to. You know what I mean? So we know that's just my thought on that. But I think other than that, Shot Powers, we got a lot of things going on with the Knicks that can happen. I heard they have the Embiid thing is heavily. I just heard that out there. Like I said, none of this stuff. I don't say that's going to happen. I heard that the Embiid thing is heating up.
I heard some. I mean, I've seen some of this stuff. You know what I mean? I've seen it too, and you know, and I've seen some of the proposals that they would want to get for him and stuff like that, and it will leave us a little less. You know what I mean? Than what we got right now. We might have to give up a little bit more, but we would be, you know, all depends on how healthy Embiid would be. You know what I mean? That's the big thing about Embiid. He's a little older. I think he's almost 30. If he's not 30 already. He's a little older. He's you know, injury prone, but you put Embiid and Brunson together on the pick and pop. Yeah, that and Embiid can shoot that 3 a little bit. You know what I mean? And he's a bruiser when he gets to the line. He hits about 80-something% from the line. You know, that now if we were talking about overall, but Embiid's a big contract too. I think he's getting $46 million or something like that. Let me look at my book. If I still got his name up here, Kuzma, $46 million. I mean, next year. And I mean, so now we would have to take that. Now we're looking at being a team that's in now we're in luxury tax. We're full blown in luxury tax. We have about the trade deadline or so to either get off that money or pay that money back. You know what I mean? So that's what that means. And I don't know if the Knicks, if you know, I mean, I've never been to the Garden and it's never been crowded. I've been to games when we've been in the playoffs, and I've been to games where the team, I couldn't remember 2 of the names of the players on the team right now. And the Garden's always packed. You know what I mean? So does that luxury tax really take effect to what, you know, all right, Dolan's gonna miss extra $100 million this year because of the luxury tax. I'm just throwing a number out there. You know, is he really going to worry about that from the tax of the team? But he still makes that back in concessions at the Garden for everything else that he does for the year. You know what I mean? Does that take a, you know, whatever, you know, but yeah, it's all down to Randall. And I see some trades now that I'm more, you know what I mean, for RJ that I'm leaning to like, all right, you know what I mean, we need someone that's a little stronger than RJ at that 3. You know what I mean, someone that can knock down the 3-point shot, you know what I mean, on a consistent basis. Somebody that can play some defense. Somebody that's about RJ's height, 6'7", 6'8". You know what I mean? You know, if we can get, you know, one of the big guys for that position where, I mean, I said this jokingly, but if we can move RJ to the Raptors and get OG Anunoby and see if we can get OG to go to Brooklyn so we can get Mikal Bridges, you know what I mean? Or even keep OG. I think OG is a little more, he plays better defense, a little bit better defense than RJ. He can shoot the 3-point. I believe he was over 36%, I think, this year and he plays great defense, you know what I mean? And he's not a bad rebounder. So I wouldn't be opposed to seeing something like that if they wanted to change it up a little bit, you know what I mean, and get somebody that has a little bit more defense like RJ, but also that can put up about as many points as RJ does. And a banging move for RJ, you know, if we were to move on from RJ, is to send him back home, send him to Toronto. He'd be loved there, and I don't think he'll have a problem going to Toronto, going to play for Toronto, his home city. You know what I mean, in Canada. You know what I mean. So I don't know.
Yeah. I mean, you know, go back to his home country. Well, good. Here's another thing. You know, maybe the Knicks don't do nothing. They might not do anything. RJ might be here for the next 4 years. I don't know. I have no clue. I'm just looking at all the variables that can happen within a basketball franchise. That's why I bring RJ up before Randall, because I think the talent wise, I think Randall's a better talent. Does that mean that RJ won't be better? I don't know, but I think Randall is a better talent because he shoot better. And even though his numbers ain't good from 3-point all the time either, but I mean, his numbers don't lie neither. You know what I mean? They don't. You know what I mean? But I think the Knicks going to do this year, they're going to get somebody. I think they're going to get somebody. You can't get that. You can't get to the second round 1-2 games away from the Eastern Conference Finals and then pull back your team. You know what I mean, Shot Powers? You can't say, I got this far, but now I'm going to taper off. You best believe the Knicks going to try to go for they like, man, 2 games away from the Eastern Conference Finals, we could have been Boston or Miami Heat. But we missing what? A certain type of player here or there. You know what I mean? That Randall hurt, quickly hurt. Maybe them Cavs would have had good series. We would be having a different conversation. You know what I mean? But being there quickly didn't have a good playoff. Randall came in there limping into the play. They got hurt in the playoffs. You know what I mean? So Mitchell Robinson was hurt a little bit. The team is solid. They might find them saying, we just need a couple of bench players. I don't know what but I don't think either way it goes, if they strengthen that bench, the New York Knicks have to do something. They cannot go into this season with that same team because somebody going to get better. Whether it's the Miami Heat,
that's the big thing right there, Devon.
Somebody going to get better. Whether it's the Boston Celtics say, you know what? What are we missing for us to beat the Miami Heat? They might go out there and get another acquisition. What the Cleveland Cavaliers might say, who I might get in there to take Alex Okoro's spot and get a dominant dude at the 3. You know what I mean? For everybody going to be looking to try to get better. They're going to have to upgrade their roster too. If they're going to want to compete like they did this year, they got to upgrade. If not, everybody else upgrading. Next thing you know, we mess around and don't upgrade, and some of the stuff we still relying on. Hope this guy do good tonight. You know what I'm saying, Chop Out? Let's hope he have a good game. Nah, you want guys who don't want to hope they're going to have a good game. You want guys who are going to have a good game. And that's where I think we are as a team. That's why we didn't make it to the third round. We was hoping Randall had a good game. We was hoping Quickly had a good game. We was hoping RJ had a good game. Nah, they want players to go with Brunson who going to have a good game. That's the difference right there. And that's why I put guys like RJ and them cats possible on the block. Because I think we done got to a point right now we cannot let a great player like Jalen Brunson for the next 4 years not have a chance to get us to the finals. I think they're going to do whatever they got to do. And RJ could be in there. Randall could be in there, but I think it's more one or the other. But I think it's going to be one of them. I think you're going to make a major move because they too close, Shop Powers. They too close, bro.
Yeah, and we definitely don't want to do like we did in the we here year, and then the next year we go to 37 wins, and then come back the following year and have this 47 win game. We need to stay above 6 next year, and the playoff run. We definitely have to. I mean, I'm going to say this too. I'm not opposed to them running it back, and maybe not even making any major tweaks because of how young our crew is. How young. The biggest thing I would want to see then is Tom Thibodeau to not be as stubborn and maybe run a 10-man rotation. You know what I mean? Maybe run a 10-man rotation. Maybe see a little bit more Deuce McBride. You know what I mean? Maybe see a little bit more of him. You know what I mean? But that would probably be, if they don't do nothing else, if they just to come off, if you let Brunson, because I think Grimes is going to have a better year. And I mean, first year, second year in the league, first year being the starting 2 guard in the league. He did well this year, especially with his defense. And I mean, he stayed pretty much healthy, and a couple of games we've seen what we could have on a consistent basis. I mean, with him, the way he get the thing with him is he has to take the shots. He's going to be a little smarter next year. He's going to be in his third year, his sophomore year in the league. And he's going to if he comes back and they don't move anything, he's going to be in his second year of being the starting two guard, and I think he's going to come back out and be more aggressive this year. I think RJ somehow figures it out and learns that he doesn't need to shoot but 5 3-pointers a game and drive and face up to the baskets and shoot some jump shots. RJ has a pretty good short range jump shot that he either drives all the way to the hole or shoots a long three. If he could develop that mid-range game, shooting a couple of jump shots, which he shoots pretty well, I think he can have a better year next year. He been steadily growing every year he go, even though his consistency isn't that great. But if he could get to better consistency, better consecutive scoring next year and upgrade his scoring to 22 points, 23 points, that's a better RJ. I mean, 37% from 3-pointers and 47% from the field. That's a better RJ. You know what I mean? So those are the things that I'm hoping for if they run it back. And I believe that's what they're probably going to do. But the biggest thing is to implement Deuce. Let Deuce get some burn out there. So now we got Deuce backing up Brunson. Now you got RJ. Now you got IQ backing up Grimes. Now you got Hard backing up RJ. Now you got Obi backing up Randall, and now you got Hartenstein backing up Mitch. You know what I mean? So we have 5 and 5. This way, they could be interchanged any way you want to interweave them any way you want. But a little bit more minutes for Deuce, I think we can have a better production out in the second year.
Yeah. Hey, Greg, Pete, I agree with you 100%, and that's why I like keeping players because I think quickly have a better year. I think all of them get better. That's what maturation is. What you did this year, you're gonna be better at the next year. I agree with everybody 100%. That's what maturation is all about. I'm quite sure every year you've seen RJ in the rookie year. Every player, any NBA player who really got a good work ethic, who believes in themselves, they get better every year. RJ do it. Quickly did it. Grimes gonna do it. Deuce McBride will eventually do it. He just got to find a way to get down to that hole. Deuce McBride got to learn how to get downhill. If you don't get downhill, he's not gonna last because then that 3-point shot is not consistent enough. He'll become a Tony Allen. He'll become a guys like that, Andre Roberson. They got defense. He become a Frank Ntilikina. If he don't get down that lane, Frank was the same thing like Deuce McBride. They had good defense, could hawk anybody.
Mm-hmm.
He could not go downhill. Deuce McBride cannot go downhill. He got to work on that part of his game for him to be to be a mainstay. Or he's gonna become, like I said, a Tony Allen, literally. They rely on you for your defense. That's all they need you for. So let's hope that he work out, and I hope all of them get better, man. I like this whole Knicks team. I think I would love to run it back, but I think when it comes to money, and all that stuff, it might be different. You got to get IQ, got to give him his money. You got to get Jay Hart his money. You know what I mean? What's going to happen to Obi Toppin? Even though they not ready to be extended yet, but sometimes you might have to strike while the iron's hot. Let's say for some reason you don't trade Obi Toppin now, you go in the next season, he get hurt. Now you done lost the trade value because you prolonged 1 year when you know you wasn't going to keep along Julius Randle here. So you say I'm gonna keep Obi Toppin, hope and something happened to him, and because you got Randle signed for 4 years. So you think Obi Toppin gonna play in New York behind Julius Randle got for 4 years, knowing he was the player of the year in college, natural player of the year, got skills, and you think he don't want to sit behind Julius Randle for 4 years? I don't think that's happening. So they got to strike while the iron hot. You might have to trade Obi Toppin because if not, he ain't gonna do the Knicks no good coming off the bench for 10 minutes behind Randle, 15 minutes.
Facts.
Nah, get him up. So and it's a shame because we Obi Toppin fans, but it's about to take the name on the front, not the back. You know what I mean? It's like, okay, what are we going to do Obi Toppin? We're going to get Obi Toppin $15, $16 million. We got Julius Randle here. We just gave Quickly $18 million. We just gave Josh Hart $17 million, supposedly. And then you got Quentin Grimes coming up for extension after next year. And the next big on him. So it's going to be interesting all season. This Knicks team going to lose some players. Because one, I think they're going to lose some because they're going to go get somebody who can help them win. And number two, they're going to lose somebody because they don't want to give them the money. They're not going to give them the money. And I think right now we'll see shot power, but it's going to be interesting all season. It already is. Scott Perry stepping down with pretty much the snowball that started rolling down the hill. You know what I mean? He's the first effect.
Yeah. And I mean, and you look at it hypothetically, we're going to have Obi this year, no matter what. He's on contract. We're going to have IQ on here because he's on contract. And maybe the year, because if I'm not mistaken, I think they own their rights. So this way they can the final year when they come unrestricted, I don't know if they can be able to either match or make a trade move with them. I'm not sure, but we may hold on to these guys and try to play it out and see what happens. You know what I mean? But with all the teams that I think are getting ready to blow it up right now, I think Washington might blow it up. I think Chicago might blow it up. I think Toronto might blow it up. A lot of teams in the East, man, I think they're gonna blow it up. I think Portland may blow it up. You know what I mean? Did I say Washington? I think Washington might blow it up. So there's some teams that you got to really look at and see what's going to happen within these teams because, there's a couple of teams that may be blowing it up, and you might like some of the players that's coming out off of them teams. You got Washington, got Siakam. Washington got a good group of guys that you might want to get. They got OG Washington. OG KP and Kuzma and Siakam. Oh no, that's Toronto. Did I say Toronto? No, why? That's what I'm saying. I forgot which name I said. Toronto. Washington has three guys: Kuzma, maybe Bill, Kuzma, and KP. You know what I mean? That's not big. Then you got the Raptors that got Siakam and OG. That's over there. That may be. OG is a big contract too. He's still getting about 30. He almost getting 40 million too. So there's a couple of guys. It all depends on how this front office. We will see because this is the word that we're going to be talking about until at least the trade deadline. To the trade night.
Yeah, a Frank Matos. For me, it's not so much question about a star. For me, we could run the team back, but it's going to be one or two players or something that's got it. You got to put like this here. If you run the whole Knicks back, you're going to have that problem, the same problem with not enough floor spacing.
Yep.
Floor spacing, man. They don't have no floor spacing. And if them cats can't knock down on 3 pointers on a regular basis, we got a problem. So I would say the biggest position to me, if we had to bring in a star or somebody who could play, I think it's the 5 spot with Mitchell Robinson, or whether it's Porzingis, whether it's whoever. My best way out would be Porzingis because of the contract. The cat could stretch the floor. He could take his center out to the 3-point line. RJ, Randall, Brunson,
everybody got lanes, yeah.
Down to the middle of that floor and eat. He makes a stretch 5 makes the offense better. And we had a good offense this year, but it makes it better because now you ain't got the middle clogged up when Brunson's trying to do what he do, or when Randall trying to do what he do. You know what I mean? Or whoever. I think we got to get a stretch 5 in a sense that could play, and I think I'm good with that. So whether it's a star, Frank Matos, I don't really care about the star thing about it, but
it all depends. Yeah. It all depends on what a star is to you. That's all it is.
It depends on what it is, and I think what we need is somebody to open up the offense. Because you can play team defense. Listen, Randall's not a great defender. RJ's not a great defender. Brunson's not a great defender. The only 2 defenders on our team in the starting lineup was Mitchell Robinson and Quentin Grimes.
Facts.
They play effort on defense sometime. See, that's the thing we got to face with too. Our defense side of the ball. We seen what happened in the playoffs against Miami. We should have ate them cats alive. We shouldn't have let Strauss and all them cats do that shit they be doing from 3-point line. Why Randall or RJ and them not up on these dudes? You know what I mean? Or Brunson them was up on these kid's face. I think it's more about, to me, the fit for the Knicks. I'll say that, Shop Out. What fit for the Knicks? What can we do to make this thing go? Because I get where everybody comes. I even heard like 19 comments that Aaron Rodgers sat behind Brett Favre for 4 years. But Aaron Rodgers is Aaron Rodgers. A lot of our Knicks ain't never going to be Aaron Rodgers talented, uber talented. I mean, he was literally just that dude. But I think our boys, I'm good either way, Shot Power. I think we'd be okay. But I do think they got to do something. I think they got to do something. What it is, I don't know. What I like to see that 5 spot taken care of. I think Mitchell Robinson's my man, but too many injuries. And I'm a Mitch guy. 59 games last year, ladies and gentlemen. 59 out of 82. 59 out of 82. So, and I also think that we can get some from him because you send him to a team that need a defender. He might turn that team around. Can you imagine going to a team that need a defense juggernaut? We need somebody in the front court who can open that place up and stretch the floor and get these cats some driving lanes. Everything is clogged up. Every time Jalen Brunson got a wiggle, shake, and shake, RJ trying to put the ball on the floor, Mitch going to have to either fade out and wait for the offensive rebound coming over the back, but he's going to have to pull his man a little bit. He can't move too far for the back because he can't get the offensive rebound. You know what I mean? So it's a quagmire with that situation. It really is. And I just think we got to do something, man. I don't know what it is, ladies and gentlemen. I don't got the answer to it. I would like to see Porzingis type player there. I would like to see our bench get stronger. I don't know if IQ going to be here. He probably will. You know, we know they're going to keep Jay Hart. I know Tom Thibodeau loves Quickly. They love this guy. So let's say they keep Quickly and sign Jay Hart. You're not going to have too much money to do stuff. You know what I mean? So somebody, if they're going to want to upgrade, they're going to have to do something in the trade. And I just got a feeling that I think World Wesley, if I knew my man was going to be here, I'm going to pass it to you right quick, Shop Out. If I knew Scott Perry was going to be here, I wouldn't worry so much about going big game hunting. But I know these guys, though. These cats went and took Julius Randle and sat at a playoff game watching Jalen Brunson and Donovan Mitchell last year. You know, and we got to remember, they was about to trade these cats for Donovan Mitchell. They didn't pull the plug maybe because they thought the package was too high, but Mitchell Robinson and RJ was on the table. Am I right or wrong?
Yep.
So that's why I'm telling them. We may be thinking what we're thinking, but believe it or not, if that trade would have went through, RJ Barrett wouldn't have been here. Mitchell Robinson wouldn't have been here, and maybe somebody else in some draft picks if it went through. And they was definitely that close. So that goes to tell me if the Knicks were going to trade for Donovan Mitchell, what makes you think he going to trade him for somebody else? They did talk about trading him. You know, he wasn't a trade package. So these guys is not they ain't guaranteed to be here. They ain't put Randall in a trade package. They wanted Randall with Donovan Mitchell and Jalen Brunson. They ain't put Randall in the package. You know what I mean? So it might be the same thing going forward. That's how the thing works, man. I think these Knicks looking like this here. If the right person come aboard and we can get them, and they think it's going to make our team better, that's what they're going to do. No matter what we think, they think that this move going to make them better. Shop out, they going for it. I can tell you that right now because that's where they at right now.
Yeah, I believe it, man. And like I said, man, if you know who when it comes to moving off of Randall, more than likely you're going to see IQ included with Randall, and I mean that makes it a little sweeter, and I mean that gets him to around $30-something million, and so you can probably go out and get one of these players around that amount of money. The KPs, Siakams, one more player that's around 36 million or something like that. Or whoever it is that, there's about 3 players out there. Maybe, maybe you might even see something, Grant, there's a couple of guys' names that's out there, man. There's a couple of guys that, you can see a trade for. I mean, and I'm not opposed to seeing, like I said, a trade. One of the first trades I was talking about jokingly is because I think Mikal Bridges and Jalen Brunson, could really affect something. You know what I mean? I think those 2 guys together would make Randall also a better player, but Randall would almost have to be like that B2 player. You know what I mean? The trade would be RJ for OG and OG to Brooklyn for Mikal Bridges. Or even if we just did the simple, I think right now, if we were to move OG over here, we would have to get something back from Toronto because Actually, right now, RJ makes more money than what OG is. I think OG is around $20 million, and RJ this year will make $25 million. So they will have to, however they work the deal out. I think they would have to still add maybe a 2 second-round picks or something like that to get closer to the moving mark. But I'm not opposed to that. Now I've been thinking about it. I didn't want to move on from RJ, but looking at, doing the homework, doing this stuff here shows you how good and how bad RJ was this year. You know what I mean? And in certain aspects of RJ's game, he was bad this year. He was bad, but he still made the 20 points a night. You know what I mean? But shooting percentages, some of these percentages out here for RJ Barrett is terrible. You know what I mean? But he's someone that he's still so young that you still can mold him a little bit. You know what I mean? You still can mold him. He's 23 years old. He can go to somebody's camp this year and learn how to move his waist so he can, learn how to, get a little stronger with what he do, learn how to shoot a mid-range jump shot and come back this year on effective numbers, shooting about 23 points a game. And I mean, it's something that all these things, like we may get Randall back next year and he plays all 82 games plus all 4, 8, 12, all 12 of the first round. I mean, all 12 of the playoffs. And I mean, he may not be hurt through the whole thing and we sweep everybody and go to the playoffs. Who knows? You know what I mean? But, the big thing for me for the last couple of years, and these guys been together for 5 years now.
Yeah.
Does RJ and Randall play together on the floor together?
Yeah, real talk. And salute to my man Jigga. What's poppin'? Jigga man, Phil, Hector, all my man Brew Crew was good. I like what Frank Martel said. Well, here's something to this too. I'm not opposed. I don't want to trade nobody off that team. You don't have to. But because I just, like I said, I think RJ, I was watching the video earlier. He out there working on this spin fade back. I was watching the clip of it earlier today. He working in that mid-range where he spin and fade back. He was knocking them down. So he working on his game. You know what I mean? For me, what's interesting, Frank Matos, I can see that happening. I really do. And this is what I wanted to say before that came up. Let me go to chat. Here's one thing. Not only, why did Jalen Brunson come here besides money? Besides money, why did Jalen Brunson come here? Because of connections, familiarity, people he know, people he grew up with. Why you think these cats have come here? Why you think Josh Hart came here? Because even though he got traded here, but the Knicks brought in somebody who's familiar with Jalen Brunson. Why Randall familiar with this dude? These cats got the Knicks work with Randall from Kentucky. The Knicks mess with nothing but a lot of Kentucky people. You know what I mean? Calipari always let the Knicks off all season. Quickly from Kentucky, Randall from Kentucky. They do with a lot of in-house stuff. And that's why when you brought in Garrison Rojas, Minnesota, you know what I mean? Tom Thibodeau, Minnesota. Derrick Rose, Minnesota. You know what I mean? They keep this stuff like a family. This is how the Knicks operate since these cats took over this thing. They're gonna bring in people who are familiar with each other. You know what I mean? Because they know, and that's why I can see what the Jack LaVine thing can happen. If Chicago was willing to trade him, I think the Knicks would do it because just for the familiarity, they know what he could do. He know he a Minnesota connection. He had Tom Thibodeau, but even though Tom Thibodeau traded him, still he's in that realm of family, and they got that little connection going. And that's why you can, even though you might not want Cat, you might got to think about it. It's a connection there. Cat from New Jersey, played in Minnesota, played with Tibbs, played with Garrison, you know what I mean? All that, you know what I mean? Played with Derrick Rose. So, I think that's why, to me, what's intriguing about a lot of stuff is that it's the connections these cats got out there, man. And I really think that's really possible that some of these guys who've been around, they're going to be comfortable with. They're going to be comfortable with, man. And I don't know, whatever they do, I think they're going to be okay. But I'm with you on that other one, Frank Matos, because if you had to give up that Derrick Rose contract at home, get the Evan Fournier contract off, instead of, if you don't want to extend the man quickly for $27 million, then you go ahead and get Zach LaVine for at least for the next so many years. The Fournier contract for 2 years, and quickly contract that you would extend him for, it'd be about 30-something, 40-something, at least for 1 or 2 years. You won't be eating a lot of Zach LaVine's contract because the 18, Fournier's 19 million. Quickly, if you get 20 million, 18 million, you put that's 37. You know what I mean? And with Derrick Rose, that's like 51. So it can be done. And I wouldn't see that the Knicks won't do that. I really won't think I could see that they wouldn't do that. He is old big money, but all of them owe big money. But the CBA going up though. They all owe money. But that's what make Randall. That's why you don't want to trade Randall, RJ, these cats, and Brunson. These cats making $27 million. You know what I mean? And so it's hard, man. It's really hard. And that's the credit. You got to get the Knicks credit for that. They got an all NBA cap for $27 million. All NBA, all-star for $27 million. They got one guy who I think literally should have been on the all NBA team this year and the all-star, Jalen Brunson, for $27 million. They got a senior young player, RJ Barrett, on a 4-year deal, $20-something million. And they don't have no. So I think that this can, if you bring in a $40-something million, it ain't gonna hurt the Knicks. They probably in a good situation when it comes to the CBA than a lot of teams are. Other than OKC and Utah, the Knicks is in a good spot for us from a CBA perspective moving forward. A couple of their contracts are descending. They got caps. They got flexibility. You know, my man gonna be going. Rose gonna be going. Fournier gonna be going. They another year from now, Hartenstein contract off the books after next year. They in a good spot, man. So no matter what the Knicks do, they're gonna be okay. They could bring in. They have the money to bring in a $40 million guy. I think if you would do after next year, they'd be at $118 million. And you know, so I think they be pretty good. Hey, I'm with you on that, man. See, that's another thing. That cat will get you the numbers. I like that team. Hey, that's a solid team. Then you take Quentin Grimes, you put him in the back at the 2, back up behind Levine. You got a good team here. That's buckets. He could get buckets, but these is buckets right here. Brunson Levine is buckets. All right, Randall buckets. They get him, bro. So I wouldn't be opposed to that. I know everybody talking about his injury, but I would not be opposed to that. Because you know you're gonna have to take a chance on anybody. Everybody injured, Shot Powers. You can name every player that you want to come on next. I bet you they got an injury history. Whether Damian Lillard was out the end of the whole season last year, Cat been out, Damian Lillard been out, what's my man, Joel Embiid been out, Zach LaVine been out. All NBA players go through that, you know, like that. That's nothing new. You know what I mean? That's why I don't worry about it too much. You know, because cats get in it. You know, it just happens. It's the NBA. You have to hope that the injury is not severe, where it's going to cost you a whole season or something. But I don't got no problem with some of these guys, man, because everybody get injured. You know what I mean? Like I said, we got a guy playing 59 games. Randall got hurt at the end of the year. Only played 70 and shit. He an Iron Man. That's what I love about Randall. Also, he an Iron Man. He don't get hurt a lot. He play a lot of games for the Knicks. He's reliable. So you know, you know what, Fabian? I have no problem with that neither. Especially now that his contract is up, Fabian, I have no problem with that. I really don't. I mean, because that's an all-star there, and the Deuce and Bride ain't nothing compared to no Russell Westbrook. Now you're talking about a Russell Westbrook on any deal, cheap ass deal. Now he done made so much money. Russell Westbrook might say, "I come to the Knicks for if I got a chance to win a ring." If Russell Westbrook said, "I got a chance to win a ring," I come here for $5 million. Who cares? I done made over $200-300 million in the NBA. You probably wouldn't care. But that's a good one, Fabian. I like that though. A guy like that, man. He could do some work on the bench for us, man. He still give you some decent numbers. He put a guy like that behind Jalen Brunson. I like JJ. I like Naz Reid, but I think Naz Reid gonna see that's a good sign. But what do we do? Hey, let me ask you a question, JJ. If we sign Naz Reid, do we got to move Hartenstein, Mitch? How would you work that out? Because that cat pretty much power forward center. Unless you move Obi Toppin, you're gonna have to sign him. I don't know how we're gonna make the money work unless we're willing to go over the cap. But I like Naz Reid. I like Naz Reid from day one. He can get it, man. So Shot Powers, I think Naz Reid's a good look. I just don't know what you do with Mitchell Robinson and Hartenstein, Obi, Jericho Simmons. We got a lot of that particular style players like for our size with Reid. But I'll take Reid in a heartbeat over a lot of them cats. I really would. But you know, he gonna get his money though. You know, he gonna get him some money. He would make about $1, $2, $3 million. He better go up to about 16, 17, 18. Now Reid gonna get him, so he gonna get him some money. So that's another dilemma. You're gonna have to move Hartenstein and Mitch if you want Naz Reid. And Obi Toppin as well. So it'd be interesting to see, man. Nick's got a lot of scenarios they could do this year. Okay, he said sign and trade Obi and Matt and pieces for Max Reed.
I mean, what we saying and all this stuff. Like I've just done some homework on Reed. I wouldn't mind seeing him here if they can make the trade and do all that stuff for OB, because, like I said, I believe the four guys the starters is from out of the starters we have to look at either Randall or RJ, and off the second unit we have to look at OB and IQ. You know what I mean? And I believe Randall and IQ or RJ and OB or RJ and IQ, you know what I mean, could do something. You know what I mean? I think you can make a trade and find somebody. And it all depends, man. We I done seen some trades already out there for LeBron. I done seen some trades out there for Jaylen Brown and OG. They still talking about SGA. I don't think none of those guys are going anywhere or coming nowhere near us and stuff like that. So, I mean, but I think the Knicks this year would be the prime time year before the net. I think it's 24-25 before that new CBA come in, that you will want to make a big move right now. So you'll be, where you'll be more set for that year 24-25 season.
Yeah. Hey, JJ, let me ask you a question, because I'm a bitch. Listen, ain't no bigger homer than me and Shaw Power when it comes to Mitchell Robinson. It looks like Mitchell Robinson gonna be injury prone, man. I thought that he played 1 year. He played almost a lot of games last year. The year before
74 last year. Wasn't it last year like 74? It's playoff year. It's big payday year.
Yeah. That's my only worry is Mitchell Robinson. Can he stay healthy? And I thought he was on the cusp of going that, but last year, man, 59 games, and what happens because of the way he played, he get injured again. I mean, literally injured. Mitchell Robinson missed Shaw Power 30, 39. Not let me tell you, he played
20-some games. He only played 59 games, like 60 games, so he missed 22 games.
22 or 23 games.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that lingering effect in the playoffs had effect on him, because I think his hip injury. That's the only reason I say Mitchell Robinson, because if you bring in somebody better than Mitchell Robinson and do just about what he do, then you have to think about that. You really do, because he getting $15 million a year. And if he can't stay on the court, I know I did. I'm not saying that he didn't play big in Cleveland. He did. I mean, the cat. Listen, I'm a Mitchell Robinson guy. Mitchell Robinson, but it's not about his playing. I'm concerned about his health. Listen, Mitchell Robinson is the most dominant rebounder in this game right now. I mean, don't get me wrong, he only averaging 9 or 10. But I think if the next guy coming here can do things that make the offense better and can still have a little bit more production on the defense, you might have to look around to that, because you can't underestimate 59 games, not from a business standpoint. You know what I mean? And every time I worry about Mitch, because sometimes I think about Mitch like AD. Something about their bodies.
They big, man. 7 foot something, man.
And when they jumping, coming down, and all it takes for Mitchell Robinson with them little feet he got to come down the wrong way, and next thing you ever know that Mitch always hobbling. But he do what he do. I'm not despite that, but I'm concerned that long haul will that sustain. It might will. Mitch might play 80 games this year. I hope he do. But like I said earlier, everything that we got going on around Knicks Shot Power is always, I'm hoping. We hope he plays 82 games. We hope the 3-point percentage get better. We hope he improves for the 3-point line. We just all in this hope stuff. You know what I mean? And I think where these cats is headed is different to me. I think we got to get off of hoping this cat should have come back with a better year, hit a 3 short-point shots. Hoping this guy, because I don't think you can't put Jalen Brunson in that situation, man. I'm sorry. If you got to put that cat in a situation where he got cats like Luka, he played with Luka, or he played with this guy. That's what he did. You know what I mean? Look what he did when he wasn't with them. He still got the Knicks standing to the Eastern Conference Finals. So that tell you who he is as a player. So we gotta hope. I'm about to say it again. We gotta hope RJ have a good year. We gotta hope Randall come back have a good year. We gotta hope Mitchell Robinson don't get injured. We gotta hope Quentin Grimes come back and be better. We gotta hope this cat do this. But ain't nobody talk about they gonna do it. See, we don't hear they gonna do it. We're gonna say we hope they do it. Well, you know what? Everybody hope. We hope everybody gonna be good. I hope RJ drop 35 a game next year. I hope he do it. Jalen Brunson gonna do it. This cat gonna do it. Whoever. That's where I'm at now because of the situation that we in. Quiet Money was popping, my man. Truth, my man. Quiet Money was good, my brother. But that's where I'm at, man. I think now we done got to that high, that different level. Now we need somebody who's gonna be able to produce every day, every night. I think that's where we at, Shop House.
I think so too, Divine. And I salute Parrish. I feel the same way. I've been saying that. I even made a joke early in the cast about now that Perry's gone, you got you watch out for RJ and Randall being moved this year. So yep. I was jokingly about that, but kind of putting a emphasis on Perry not here now. You may see Randall and RJ being gone. You know what I mean? I'm not opposed to it. You know what I mean? And holding on to Obi quickly and Grimes. I'm not opposed to that. You know what I mean? But let's see what happens, man. Because there's some good free agents out there. There's some big names. Some DiVincenzo's. I think Schroeder from the Lakers is a free agent coming up this year. I mean, not for nothing, but I think he coming off the bench. Schroeder coming off the bench on a mid-level exception, 11, 10, 12, $11 million, a little bit more than what he's getting in LA right now. I think he'd be perfect coming off the bench from Brunson. You know what I mean? I think he'd be perfect coming off the bench if we move on from IQ. You know what I mean? If we move on from IQ, it's a couple of guys. DiVincenzo, another name. If we move on from IQ, I wouldn't be mad on looking into seeing if we can try to finagle him. He has he can play some basketball. He's with Golden State, one of the best shooting teams in the league, and he also played with Jay Hard and Brunson. I mean, another guy that you gotta if you move on from IQ. So it all depends on that's I say if we move, somebody's going to be two players, and it's either going to be a RJ IQ, RJ Obi, or IQ Randall. And I mean, I think between those four guys, it could be 2 or 3 trades made out of those four guys. You know what I mean? Either RJ and IQ, RJ and Obi, or Randall and IQ. You know what I mean? Or I doubt that you'll see Randall and RJ, but you know what I mean? I was throwing the joke out there earlier with, not that we would, but, Kyle Kuzma and KP with Brunson, Grimes, Kuzma, KP, and Mitchell Randall and Mitchell Robinson. That's not a bad team. You know what I mean? Or if you want to change up and put KP as but then we have to get off of Mitch. You know what I mean? And I don't think the Knicks are going to get off of Mitch. I like Mitch. I just wish 2 things I wish for Mitch: that he stays healthy, and all these Facebook and Twitter things that I see you doing, Mitch. Can you bring some of those games into the? I seen him backing down people. I seen him shooting 3-point shots, crossing people over, dunking on them, and doing all this stuff. Can we bring that to the game? Is Tom Thibodeau not letting you get away with doing that stuff? I wouldn't mind Mitchell Robinson coming out there shooting 3-pointers a game. And I mean, if he's shooting them like that, and we in those things on Twitter and stuff, you shooting them like that, can't you get out there and hit one out of 3 3-pointers a night?
Nah, he should admit they're gonna take him out.
I know that's exactly what's gonna happen. They'll be like, you're gonna see Tim. Yeah, John Mitchell.
Yeah, you know what? For me, like I said, a lot of these guys. Listen, they had opportunities, man. Quentin Grimes had a lot of open shots this year. These cats, everybody had an opportunity. One thing I say about this offense this year, you had enough shots to do what you do. You didn't do it because you just wasn't on that night. But how many times we seen these cats open and shooting these balls, man? We had one of the worst 3-point shooting teams in the league this year from at one time for us from a percentage. It got better, but when our guys, we need cats who are consistent with what they do. That's all I'm really saying about it. I don't care if they stay. I'm hoping every player on the Knicks get better this year and be consistent, because you won't be able to win without being consistent. You just won't. You can't be one game you up and one game you down. One game that's gonna be a 500 team. You know what I mean? Because one game you ain't shooting, one game you are, blah, blah, blah. I just think we got to come back with a little bit more consistency all around, and obviously injury shot powers. We can't take that. We got to take that into consideration as well. Injuries, and that played a major part, especially when quickly went down in the playoffs in that last game. You never know. Randall getting down with the broken ankle and all that stuff like that. So you have to just take all that into consideration. All the variables, people get injured, but I also know we was a young team too. That's why I don't really sweat it too. We were a young team. We had a lot of young players there. I mean, if you take off Evan Fournier, Derrick Rose, and Randall probably one of the oldest, 28.
Yeah, I believe we were the youngest in the playoffs this year.
Mm-hmm.
I believe so. I'm not 100%, but I think I've seen that out there on Twitter. They're like the youngest team in the playoffs this year.
Yep. And our numbers, and it kind of reflected too. It reflected the first year we went to the playoffs against Atlanta. It was Julius Randle and a bunch of young guys, other than a guy like Derrick Rose and Todd Gibson and them. But we'll see, man. I'm confident no matter what way they go. We just throwing speculation out there. We don't have no inside knowledge about none of this stuff. I really don't. But I'm just trying to, because we got we got a big fan base. Some people like Mitchell Robinson, some people don't. Somebody like Randall, somebody don't like Randall. Somebody like RJ, somebody don't like RJ. Somebody might. So I just try to make sure we see it for both sides. For the ones who don't like them, they understand where I'm coming from, or the ones who do like them, and also understand where I'm coming from, because we got a good team. It's just like, I just think that the way they're going now with Jalen Brunson is different. I think he changed the timeline of the New York Knicks. If Jalen Brunson came here, I think it wouldn't speed up the process. Jalen Brunson came to New York and speeded up the process because he that good. He that good. So you see what he did last year, and that's the only thing it is to me. That's why I say a lot of these guys, much as we love the Obi, I wouldn't want to trade Obi, but I also want Obi to be able to go out there and get his money and be able to go out there and have a good NBA career. And I just don't know if he's going to do it behind Randall, unless you're going to trade him. That's all it is.
Obi needs. We're more so a half court playing style basketball, and I preach about controlling the pace, because we do control the pace. Sometimes we get out and run, but majority of the time we move the ball across the half with 20 seconds left. But we're more so of a half court team. You put Obi on a team like a run and gun team, per se, like one of those young teams in like the Houston or the Indiana, teams that get up and down because they got a point guard that gets you up and down. He can probably prosper. And half court schemes, he's not all that. He's okay. He's getting better, but he's not that great. He's a more 7 seconds or less. Get the ball up before the team sets. Now he can make the move to the basket and use all his hops and athleticism to get himself to the rim and either lay the ball up, dunk the ball, or get to the free throw line. So, but I'm not opposed to seeing IQ, OB, and RJ in a trade if they need to get somebody. I think they're looking to get another dominant shooter. If you got Brunson, Grimes, and let's say, for argument's sake, Zach LaVine. Zach LaVine could turn it up at any. He can make microwave city. He can shoot the three. He can shoot the short two, and he can drive to the basket. If he's healthy, he is lethal. So could you imagine those three guys out there with, the defense? Grimes will have to triple team on three men and stuff. But I'm with that.
A Ribby RM, that is crazy. So they let the coach go, old coach. But that's wow. Monty Williams going to Detroit. Appreciate that, man. That's a good look.
That's a good look. I like Monty.
Yeah, Monty do well with that young team. He is shaping them boys good.
He in New York, so I ain't mad at him.
Yeah. And they probably had enough of Dwayne Casey. Dwayne Casey was a good coach. You got to give him credit for going through that rebuild with them. Going through all that turnover, everything, and he tried to keep the boy competitive. They got a nice little young nucleus down there, man, with Jaden Ivey and Cade Cunningham. If he played this year, that's another guy. That's what I mean by injury. Cade Cunningham didn't play the whole year. You know what I mean? Joel Embiid didn't play a couple of years the whole year, but they came back. They still could produce. So that's why I do have faith in Mitch, because I think Mitch could. I just think this year was a tough year for him. You know what I mean? Injury wise. 5 years, $72 million. That's a good look for him. He gonna help the Cats out a great deal down there. they needed a new change. I like Dwayne Casey, defense-minded coach, but they needed a change. I think.
Yeah, they needed a faster coach.
Yep. That was good. That was a good look for them. Like I said, everybody. Nick Nurse going to Philadelphia. And
yeah, we got to watch out for all of that right there because these teams, like you said, Monty and now Nick Nurse, they're all in the East now, man. We got to watch out for these teams, man.
He gonna help Joel Embiid out because his coach helped Joel Embiid out a great deal. So he might Joel Embiid like, man, he got a coach that now kind of can conform the way I play basketball. And Nick Nurse got it. You see what he did with Toronto. And so that it's interesting, man. So we got to be out there looking for it. Yeah, you're right. Hey, I'm with you on that one, Diamond Jim. Rikers Island Randall is a top 5. Man, quote chat. Text of the night, my brother. Real talk. Superman Diamond Jim, super the whole chat, man. Everybody up in the building, man. We've been in for a while. We're gonna get out pretty soon, man. But it's one of them off nights, Knicks off season, man. We're here just happening, man. We talked about Scott Perry. That was the main thing of the show. Who's gonna replace Scott Perry? We know we got a guy that possibly could happen. I'm leaning towards Garrison, but it could be anybody. I think he, for me, might be the hands-on favorite right now because of his credentials. So that we went over that today. It really was about Scott Perry. Then we just jumped into the stuff about our Knicks players because it's gonna be an interesting offseason. It already is, man. We just got to make sure that we do what we do, man, and go out there and get the right thing done no matter which happens. We want the Knicks to get ready to go take that next step. You see what happened to Boston Celtics? Anything could have happened, you know what I mean? So we just got to go out there and improve as a team overall. Players got to come back better, stronger, faster, more wiser, put in their work, learn the game a little bit more, spend the offseason doing what they do. I believe it or not, much as we talk about Obi Toppin being traded, the Knicks don't got to trade him. They don't have to trade him. He still could come and play behind Randall this year. And it might be the case. They don't necessarily got to sign IQ right now.
Nothing. They could let them go down for restricted, both of them. That's why I said they locked in this year.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
No matter what.
We're getting Bob from G's, hopefully. Bob from G's. I'm sorry, you got me on that one, Rigby RM. He said Bob from the G's. Bob Myers. Yeah, he ain't coming. He ain't coming. He ain't playing second fiddle to no
Leon Rose.
And Leon Rose don't do nothing to deserve to get fired. Leon Rose he's been doing it good for the Knicks so far, man. I think one thing I do know that Bob Myers and him they kind of talk a lot. The Knicks they came a long way with the way they front office interact with other people, man. That's why I'm gonna miss Scott Perry because he had connections. If Scott Perry calls somebody and say they need to do a trade, 9 out of 10. He can get it done because they respect what Scott Perry was doing out there, man. You know, especially when you're a good dude, you got good character, you're not out there trying to fleece nobody. So he got a good reputation in the league. So guys like that, they keep going. I know, man. I know you was. I thought about it earlier, but hey, they would have to do some shifting on that one, my man. I would love to see Bob Myers, but he gonna get a good job somewhere. You best believe it. After what he did out there in the Golden State, the Flex took that 4 championships over there. So we'll see. But man, listen, man, we're gonna get out in a few minutes, but we just want to get in here and get it popping with you guys, man, and just keep this Knicks content going over the summer until things really start popping off. So we just gotta create some content to keep everybody informed. We might talk about the same things every now and then because we got
that's what's going on right now. All speculation, all the hoopla.
Mm-hmm. But we just want to make sure we get in with you guys, man, because y'all the fam and we Knicks fans here, man. So we always glad to get up here with you guys and ladies and gents and talk this stuff, man, because it's going to be interesting, man. Knicks had a great year this year. They did well. I'm very happy with the way the season went, man. I can't be more happy for the Knicks right now. And they're in a good spot all around, whether it's player-wise, financial-wise, they can make it happen. Draft pick-wise, they can make it happen. Everything, man. Talent in the G League, all that stuff. This Knicks right now, this Knicks organization is pretty solid, man. They really got to give them their flowers, man. Real talk. They pretty solid with it. They got moves to make. They can make moves, or they gonna say, I'm gonna keep building slowly. Like Leon Rose said that we gonna take it one day at a time. But I think because of my man coming in here this year, Jalen Brunson changed a little bit of that from at the time on us. How would I say expediting shot powers? Mm-hmm. Expedite this thing a little bit more. Hopefully they expedite it without destroying the infrastructure. But you could bring in a player for 3 years to Julius Randle, Brunson's, RJ's contract. That's a good thing too, because even if you bring in a player, but make the player you bring in, their contract probably will be expiring by the time Brunson's expire or get extended, or RJ's get extended, or Randall's get extended, or Mitchell's get extended, because they all on 4-year deals. So they might bring in a player like that can ride out. And after 4 years, if they haven't won a championship or something, they feel like we can blow it all up and get all our money back. So they got. I think they're gonna go for it. But we just spoke about that. He did it how Monty Williams. That was a good look right there. We just spoke about that. But shout out real quick. If you had to take a choice, I'm gonna give you 2-3 guys. Who you think would be gone for the Knicks first? And even in the chat, RJ, Randall. I'm gonna give you 4. Obi Toppin or Mitch. Out of all 4 of them players, if you had to pick one, who you think would be the first one out the door in the trade?
Who is it? RJ, Randall, Obi, and Mitch?
Yeah.
Well, for money wise, I'm gonna say Randall. For the highest perspective on the team, I think Obi. Randall. RJ, because I think he has a higher ceiling. He's younger, and if they wanted to move somebody, he played well in the playoffs this year. I think he's a higher prospect. I don't want to say higher prospect than Randall, but I think he's more tradable than Randall. But I think if they were trying to trade anybody first, it would be Randall. Then it'd be RJ, and then it would be a move. You could put Mitch and Obi in a contract to get somebody too. So that would probably be my third one, because that's another. I'm trying not to put Mitch in any trades. I want Mitch to stay here. I just want him to stay healthy and develop a short jump hook shot. Give me 8-10 points a night. You can grab all the rebounds you want. Give me 8-10 points a night. But I think that would probably be the third chain. Mitch can be one that could be traded with Obi Toppin just as well as you can see a Mitch, Obi, and IQ deal as well.
So you said, but your first one would be Randall.
Randall. For me, I would move Randall because I believe Randall. If we move on from Randall, depending on who we get, if we get a Grant, if we get a Siakam, if we get a KP, I think with Randall gone, you'll have more time to move the ball around. We'll have better movement with the basketball with Randall not here, because nobody's going to hold on to the ball. It'll be like a hot potato. And I think you'll see more shots for Quentin Grimes and for more possessions for RJ Barrett. So I think that would elevate their game. Moving RJ would be my second, because he actually could be the first, but I put him second because he has a higher ceiling. He's 23 years old. He still could be molded. And there's a couple of teams he's already been in trade talks already, and I could see a trade it's either Randall or RJ to move RJ and get OG over here to fill in what RJ does over here. A more consistent shooter. His splits are a little better than what RJ is, but he's a little older. He's about RJ's. I think he'll be 25, 26 OG. So in 3 years, RJ should be where OG is, and he could probably be at over there in Toronto. And the third one would be Mitch, but I don't know if they will move on from. If they move on from Mitch, that means that we're either going to get a KP or a Cat or somebody, a big man in the middle. And I'm not so high on Cat coming here, but if it was made with the right trades and we don't kill the infrastructure, so be it. I don't think if it's Cat and Randall in the backcourt, I don't know. And Cat's coming back from an injury. We know that Cat's going to be, it's all play about how many games a player is going to play for me. And I know what Mitch is, so and he's only getting $15 million, so I know what to expect. Mitch is going to get out there and get you probably around 60 games, 60 to a high, maybe a high 60. 60 to 69, 71 games a year, and possibly make it for you in the playoffs. And give you outstanding rebounding offensively and defensively. He just lacks on scoring.
That makes sense. I think for me, if I had to say who would be moved first, I'm gonna go Obi Toppin first. Because of the Randall situation, and he's gonna get extended eventually.
Okay.
I'll go Mitch second, just due to the fact because what you might can get at that position, and what it could do for the team from a offense opening up perspective. All that. Especially a stretch player or somebody who can. Like I know we talk about Cat D, but he got the same amount of block shots Mitch got at 1.5. He got 1.5 block shots just like Mitch do. But the difference is he's 20-some points a game and 11 rebounds. Mitch is 9 rebounds, and that's a lot of them is offense rebounds. So I would say Obi Toppin, Mitch. Then I'm going RJ. The reason why I'm going RJ is because I think the Knicks they want Randall to be part of this thing with another better player.
Mm-hmm.
So I think they would want to bring in another player to go with him and Brunson, because they know like you say, RJ's more tradable. He's younger. He got enough chance to get better and better and better. I don't know if the Knicks gonna wait for that. If they do, so I would go Obi, Mitch, RJ, and Randall. That's what I probably would say, because I think RJ and Randall, which none of them might go anywhere, but I just threw that question out there just to get what everybody thinking.
This is true.
Yeah, I do think Obi, because of the Randall situation, and eventually you're gonna have to extend him. Mitch Robinson, because of the noise out there with these centers. I just got to throw it out there because of the noise with the centers and the possibilities of this person, and maybe this what they bring in to help the offense so much that you don't have a lot of the offense rebound won't be needed. You know what I mean? So
facts. I say that a lot too. You bring a player that makes the shot, and I mean you don't have to worry about Mitch getting 9 offensive rebounds a game. You know what I mean? You don't have to worry about that if you get someone that's knocking out. If we're 49 to 52% from the field goal percentage, then you don't need that many rebounds because we're making baskets. So I understand where you're coming from that.
Yeah, but let me tell you, I can't deny with this neither. Obi Toppin. See, I don't have a problem with keeping Obi Toppin if you move Julius Randle.
Right.
You have to move Julius Randle. See, that's why I keep bringing the Obi Toppin thing up. I think Obi Toppin can do some of the things Julius Randle do from a scoring. I'm talking about on the outside, running up and down the floor. Obi Toppin can get some 20 points because I think he's that talented. But the other side is his half-court game. Mm-hmm. In the three-point corner all the time. But once he learned how to put that ball on the floor and go up there and start throwing it down with authority, I mean, Obi Toppin got to get some dog in him. Then I don't have a problem with Obi Toppin being in New York. But then depending on who you're going to get for Randall, because if you trade Julius Randle, you best believe you better be going to get a star. You ain't trading Julius Randle for no just average players just like him. Like, you're not trading Julius Randle for another Julius Randle type of caliber player. You traded Julius Randle in a package to get somebody better than him. So whether it be the 5 or the 3 or the 2, you're going to if you trade Julius Randle, you got to bring in somebody like a Damian Lillard or somebody who matched that caliber of talent, because you're losing a lot with Julius Randle. You know what I mean? So if you keep RJ and you put Obi Toppin at Julius Randle's spot, you got to bring in a dude that's literally better than Randle, better than him. You got him. You know what I mean? So if you're going to trade Julius Randle and keep RJ Barrett, you better put that man in the packet for a monster dude. Because to me, it won't be worth it. Like I said, if you trade Julius Randle, you got to trade him for an all-star or a superstar within a package. You can't trade an all-star and an all-NBA gap for nobody that's not on this caliber. That would be going backwards. So I don't know. But there's a lot of possibilities, Shot Powers. We stay tuned in much as we can, man. I think if we don't see us Sunday, it might be maybe Tuesday, Wednesday. I mean, I'm going on vacation Saturday morning, so but I'm gonna create a bunch of streams and everything that we do. You know me, I'm working just like you, man. You know how we do. No matter where we at, when it's time to come on Knicks Real Talk, we in the building. You know what I mean? So we in the building. So we get it popping. And Holloway,
Pam Grier.
Right. I am the smartest of the Knick panel. Okay, Joe, we hear you, my man. He said, Van Grier with facts. Yeah, you're right. Equal value of more facts once a Knick. You got to. You can't trade that cat to be trading. Not no all NBA dude. My man, they like a Pan Grier way higher. Yeah, she was the top. She's top of the food chain when she was doing it back in them days. Real talk. But yeah, man, listen, man, you're a great show, everybody. We're gonna get up out of here. Shop Powell highlight me, man. Get a chance to the channel, something to talk about, man. Moving again up out of
yes. Salute to you, Divine. Salute to the chat. And as we said, since the season's over, we have to think about who's going to be moved and who's going to be traded. Is it Julius Randle or if it's RJ Barrett? And on the second unit is IQ or is it Obi Toppin? We won't know anything. We could just, throw hints out there, throw darts, see who we need to see out there, or whoever's out there. We'll mention some names, we'll mention some trades. But for right now, all the stuff we did this 2 years in a row now, and I remember we went from the almighty 4th seed to bringing everybody back when we thought we was gonna make some super duper trades. So we'll see what happens. We'll keep talking about what we think and stuff like that. I'm big on KP because I think KB could get 28 minutes and Obi Toppin could get 20 minutes. Or you can see a little bit of Obi before we get ready to trade him the year after. But with that being said, salute to you, Divine, as always. Salute to the chat. Y'all got my neck breaking today. Thank y'all for coming in. Like Divine getting ready to go on vacay. We'll see what happens. We'll probably come on sometime when he's on vacay, and we'll do it from there. Salute to you guys. Much love.
Yeah, real talk. Everybody in the chat, man, y'all. Thank y'all for coming in. Make sure you hit that like and subscribe, leaving out the door. For those who haven't subscribed, subscribe. We in the building all the time. Next Real Talk, that's what we do. We in here, man. We had a
tell a friend to tell a friend to tell a friend, man. We getting close to that thousand mark, man. To tell wifey, let me see your phone. My man Sean Divine's out there, and they are close to 1,000. Let me just log. You ain't gotta be notified. Just log in. Let's get some subscribers for Sean. That's a Knicks fans. That's Knicks fans. That's what I'll be watching when you in the kitchen cook. Oh, I don't want to say it like that.
Yeah, man. Just listen. This is what you could do. You can subscribe and turn on the damn notifications. As long as you throw the subscribe up in there. That's
all. To tell wifey, get wifey phone and be like, let me just log into my people's spot. Represent with my peoples.
Right here, you already know. Yeah, man, listen, we do got the new intro coming out about in another week or two, maybe earlier, man. It's just hot. So, we got a new intro for the show coming out. We doing the damn thing on there, man. I sure enjoy this one, man. I know y'all enjoyed the last one, but it's gonna be fire as well. But thank you for coming in, everybody. We appreciate y'all. I'm always, man, the chat is where it's at. Without you cats, ain't no Knicks Real Talk, man. And Joey Long said Mitch Rob out. So I see where you going for with that, my man. But listen, Shot, my brother. I'll holler at you on the other side, my man.
Y'all ready?
And to the chat, my physical brother, Unique, everybody in chat, thank y'all for coming in. We out, man. Next Real Talk, let's get it, man. Peace.
Let's get it.
Time for Divine Shot, KJ Events. This Real Talk's the brand. You understand how we do, my man. I'm on that Friday night Knick shit, dripping in Knick shit. Up in the world, most famous arena with the click. That's the conglomerate. The Knicks Real Talk, the real prominent. I'm a bit like the Omicron variant, dominant. Paying homage to the cat in the chat. That's where it's at. When I'm hearing that, you don't care for how early we straight back. We interact with the mob, the gods. Up in the pod, the squad, the side. My entourage be on the job, my energy. Feeling tripping in Timber. As they cook my game plan, and my brand for loot and pursuit. Going hard like the New York City gritty committee. Cause that's the things we ain't always pretty, but we all stay giddy. And we embrace the fan base, like the lake, Anthony Mace. We create the logo when there's space that appear like Squarespace. Staring down on the Chase Bridge, look at that Knicks City drip. There's any Dexys on the court, looking pretty legit. I stay true to the orange and blue. I thought you knew for him a few bars to shine like Star Divine to Mount Mars. Knicks Real Talk. Here we go, let's go.
Knicks Real Talk right here. I'm representing
Knicks Real Talk.
right here.
Here we go, let's go.
We here in the building.
Knicks Real Talk.
Let's get it.
Here we go, let's go.
Yeah, for real. Yes, sir.
Knicks Real Talk.
We here.
Here we go, let's go.
Let's get it. Let's get it. Yeah, for real. Yes, sir.
Let's get it.